Hey guys, this is day 133 of startup. So I've decided today to pretend that the idea I'm working on is the greatest idea and that I have 100% conviction on it. Just fake it till I make it or break it. And this fake conviction is not about pretending to others in front of others, but to pretend even when I'm alone, in pretend, in assume this when I'm making decisions. And the reason for this is last few days I nurtured a lot of doubts and uncertainties, and that considerably slowed down progress. So I've been thinking, like, okay, doubts are there, of course, there's unknowns, the things can break, but by having these uncertainties, I am not able to make concrete steps and wasting a lot of time in thinking about whether whether this startup will work, whether this idea will work, whether this idea is a good idea, instead of thinking about how, instead of thinking about how to make this startup work, how can I make this idea work, how can I make this idea better. So I need to adopt this fake conviction so I can ask and work on the right questions and run as fast as possible till I make it or hit a brick wall, dead end. Another reason for doing this is when you believe, you also start thinking long term. You start enjoying the journey more than the destination. So for now, because I do not believe, I'm not able to really enjoy little or big things that I'm doing. So if I pick up a book on cold calling, which is the domain of my startup, I'm immediately after a few pages worried that what's the point of reading this if my idea will anyways not work. Similarly, if I'm working on solving a technical issue, so in my case, it is an issue probably around AI for voice cloning. After some bit of working, trying to make it work, I start thinking, what's the point of going deeper in this when I might need to switch my idea? But if I temporarily disable my disbelief, then I can actually start to see meaning in these activities. This also means that sometimes I may get stuck on some hard problems, and those problems may be difficult to move the next day or the day after. But in that period, I can actually start working or pick up some easier problems and make progress on those and let my brain really think on the back of the mind about those bigger problems and not really have that pressure to solve them first before I can do anything else. So as you see, there's a certain degree of faith is needed that allows me to put some of the problems in the back burner and just have this faith that in future some solution will come from somewhere, from universe, from God, and it will all connect, the dots will connect. Moreover, I need to start aggressively selling what I'm building. By selling, I mean reach out to more investors, more and more investors, potential customers, try to sign them up for a wait list. Do not be afraid that if my idea will fail, then all of this effort, all of these relationships built for a purpose will be lost. So just hope or just assume that the solution will come and then start building the customer base right from today so that by the time solution is actually there, I already have found the messaging and found how to find customers, how to sell. And thus, by working on all of these aspects simultaneously, it will allow to break the monotonicity of just focusing on one thing on which I'm stuck and start to see progress in different directions. So sometimes some success will come from sales, sometimes some success will come from engineering, sometimes some success will come from fundraising, and let that momentum build. Now, all of this is good, but you may be thinking, like, how can you have belief consciously, this fake belief consciously? Doesn't it come naturally from within? And will this fake belief, because you know it's a fake belief, will it even work? I frankly do not know. This is an experiment. I do not know. There's a theory, of course, that if you believe or pretend something for a long time, you start pretending, then you start believing. So maybe that is true, maybe that is not true. But one thing is sure, that when I'm stuck, when I'm thinking about a decision, or when I'm observing my thought process, I can at least rely on this conscious decision of assuming that the dots will connect, that it will eventually work out to make those decisions. So when I'm thinking whether I should read this book because it will give me returns in the long run but not solve any of the immediate problems, I can think, yeah, I'm a little tired, I'm bored of working on that problem, and this book can actually be very useful in the long run. So why not read it? Because I'm going to stick with this idea for a very long time because it is going to work. So in this way, I can use this decision that I'm making today to make decisions in the future. One final thing, having this fake belief, this fake conviction, doesn't mean that I close my eyes to the negative feedback, to negative results from any experiments, to the risks. I need to also simultaneously follow this strong process to track all the risks, to make note all the negative feedbacks received, and continue to work on eliminating those risks. And if those risks are not immediately eliminated, or some objections are not immediately answered, I cannot think of the answer to these objections, or I cannot think of how to solve these risky areas, then I keep those hard problems in the back burner and constantly think about them rather than just ignoring them to continue to believe. So with that note, that's it. Thank you.